The joy is in the journey. Things are coming from the decisions and the actions that you're taking today that you may never know unless you allow them to unfold. Hey, Dream Drivers, welcome to episode 196 of the Dreams and Drive podcast. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about some of the ways that we discredit how much we've done and why we need to start paying attention to and applauding ourselves for all that we have accomplished and just enjoying the journey that we are on. Before we get into the episode, though, please remember, if you like this episode, if you feel like it's impactful, if you feel like it could help somebody else, please share it. I love it when you guys are sharing on social media, especially screenshot it, post it to your Instagram stories, post it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. We are Dreams and Drive across the board. And you can also use the hashtag Dreams and Drive when sharing as well. And if you want to join the Dreams and Drive community and get our weekly newsletter, The Keys, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/join. That's dreamsanddrive.com/join. This past weekend, I attended Black Women Talk Tech, which was a conference. I only was there for one day, day 2, but the experience I had was amazing. And I met so many amazing women who are just doing phenomenal things in the tech community and as Black female entrepreneurs, Black female founders. So Nike hosted the after party. So I wasn't going to go, ironically. I wasn't going to go, but I said, I'm going to go for a little bit. And I went over with one of the girls that I befriended at the conference. Her name was Devereen. She actually was a listener of the show. So anyway, so we go to the conference and we're having fun. We kind of split up and I met this other girl and we were all just dancing. And another older woman comes and she says like she's 52. No, she was talking about why, I forgot actually what she was saying. But her age came up and she was like, yeah, I'm 52. And we were all like, what? You're 52? She did not look 52. She probably looked like she was in her 30s or something. So we all were like, Black don't crack. And so, me being the interviewer that I am, I asked her, I said, hey, what do you think is your biggest life lesson that you learned in these 52 years of life? On the middle of the dance floor, I asked her this question. And she said to me, she said, the joy is in the journey. And I wish I could remember her name. And I don't remember it, but she said, the joy is in the journey. So I know a lot of the times we can beat ourselves up about where we are along our journeys or where we should be and where we shouldn't be. There's just so much that we tell ourselves and so much that we sometimes beat ourselves up about. So I tried to put this into perspective because I think perspective is very important as a dream driver. So I thought about this, right? Year 3.5. I am 3.5 years into Dreams and Drive. I said, where is one of my idols in my head? Oprah. Where was she in year 3.5? So I went on Google and I Googled Oprah career timeline, right? And I'm going to give you guys a quick timeline of Oprah's career. Even if you don't like Oprah, just listen. 1973, she became Nashville's first African-American TV correspondent and the youngest person to co-anchor the news for WTVF, which is a CBS-affiliated television station. 1976, that's 3 years later, she moves to Baltimore and later hosts the TV chat show People Are Talking. 1984, she relocates to Chicago to host her own morning show, AM Chicago. 1985, she makes her film debut in Steven Spielberg's This Color Purple, for which she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. 1986, she launches The Oprah Winfrey Show as a nationally syndicated program placed on 120 channels. Now imagine if Oprah had quit in 1976 and a half. Where would she be today? Who knows? And we'll never know because she didn't quit. The joy is in the journey. We have to look for lessons and not marks of failure, right? I think a lot of times we have these dreams, and because we don't know where the dreams will lead us, it can be very discouraging to keep on going. And if you're spiritual or not, this is often tied to the idea of having faith. You have to have faith and belief in yourself in order to keep treading a journey that you have no idea where it will lead you. It sounds kind of crazy, but I think it's really important for us to really remember the joy is in the journey. Pause this right now and just tell yourself the joy is in the journey. And something that I've learned too along this journey is everyone doesn't need to know everything about your journey. I think a lot of times we forget about the importance of inward reflection and holding some of our dreams to ourselves. This is something that a lot of our guests have talked about. Sometimes there are some dreams that you have to keep within and some dreams that you have to nurture and grow by yourself, alone, because they're so important that you cannot let dream killers get to them. Even if they don't intentionally mean to, sometimes you have to hold those dreams and those plans close to your heart. And know that although a lot of us seek validation, sometimes the best validation is the one you give yourself. No one can ever validate you in life like the way you can validate yourself once you truly believe. And I think it takes time to get there, but once you get there, you will be unstoppable. I've also realized along this journey, the joys in the journey, that sometimes it's okay to do nothing. If you guys remember my episode with my friend, we were talking about sitting in nothing and how sometimes we forget that even though we feel like we aren't being as productive as we should be, that there is so much that can get done by really taking the time to slow down. But at the same time, I realize that sometimes that nothing and sitting in nothing can sometimes turn into a comfort zone, and you have to push yourself out of neutral sometimes. You have to get into neutral, but at the same time, you should not stay in neutral forever. It can come to a point where it's almost laziness, and when you're not really giving yourself the push and demanding of yourself the best, excellence, right? I had a call with a former guest, Kristen Carter, and she really, I was telling her about how I had some goals for myself, and she was like, so why haven't you done X, X, and X? And I had no excuses. I really couldn't tell her, it's because of this. Like, I really had no excuses, and it made me think about sometimes we can just say, I'm relaxing because I need it. And you may need it, but do you need it forever? So that's something else I've learned. But you know what? The joy is in the journey. I think a lot of times because we aren't charting our journey and we're not really thinking about all that we've accomplished over the years, over the months, over the days, it's really hard to keep motivated. So I encourage you guys all to chart your success, celebrate your successes, document your highs and your lows, your valleys and your mountaintops, because they are all part of everything. And there are lessons to be learned in everything that we do, and we have to stop looking for marks of failure. Make a timeline of your own career, of your own life, of the things that you've accomplished, and really think about it, right? Like, what if Dreams and Drive had ended in, I'm just going to say, June of 2016. So I launched in January 2016. If I never kept going, at least until August, I wouldn't have had that first Apple Podcast homepage feature with episode 32 guests, Jeff and Kalisa. And that one feature was the moment, the catalyst moment along my journey that catapulted me in the charts and helped me reach a huge new audience. If it wasn't for that one feature, maybe I wouldn't have been where I am today. But what if I had given up in June of 2016, very early on, the 6-month mark? I could have said, you know what, this is not going anywhere, but I didn't. There are so many little things that are playing a bigger part in who we are and the opportunities that we have access to. And some of those little things you guys have really been a part of or heard on the show. So I'm going to give you a few examples. So back when I was in high school, I was reading a magazine during one of my free periods. I think it was Ebony or Essence. And I saw that there was this Black woman who was being featured who had her own beauty and skincare company. And guess what? She was headquartered in East Orange, New Jersey, so I was from Orange. So I sent her an email. I didn't even know anything about internships. I said, you know what? I want to work with her and I can learn from her. I sent her an email and pitched myself to be an intern. They didn't even have interns at this moment. And I was episode 37 guest Dawn Fitch, her first intern. She had the company Puka Pure and Simple, and to this day, Dawn is a mentor of mine. She's someone that came to my college graduation. She's someone who has been a part of my life. But what if, right? What if I never made that one distinct action and execute upon the idea I had to email her. There's so many things that I learned by working with her. Sales. She introduced me to the world of entrepreneurship, health, beauty, how to do great live events. And I had to remember this. Back in 2015, she even had a podcast and she was going live on Periscope. And she kept telling me that I should do it. And I didn't really think it was for me at that moment. But just look at how everything evolved, right? She planted some seeds that I even forgot about until right now. The joy is in the journey. Or even this, back in high school again, or actually before high school in 7th grade, I got into this program called A Better Chance, which led me to go into this independent private school called Dwight Englewood. And in 12th grade, that same program sent me information about a college internship program called the Emma Bowen Foundation. And I applied for it, and that's how I was able to work for CBS, the CBS in New York City for 4 years. And at CBS, that's where I met episode 74 guest, Gabrielle Simpson, who became a great friend, a great mentor to me along my own media career. And there's so many opportunities that CBS afforded me, right? The joy is in the journey. Things are coming from the decisions and the actions that you're taking today that you may never know unless you allow them to unfold. As you all may know, if you didn't know, please go back and listen to that episode. But I talk about how in August of 2018, I quit my job. And I always wondered, or not I always wondered, sometimes I wondered, did I make the right decision? And then at the same time, sometimes I wondered, did I waste 3 years of my life? Did I stay there too long? Maybe I could have left earlier. Maybe I could have demanded a raise and, I would have elevated more in my career. There's so many maybes, but we can stay in maybes all day, or we could stay in, so what am I going to do now? So anyway, I had to start thinking about, it's not about what I didn't do, but it's about what I did do and what I learned from what I didn't do. And there are so many things that job taught me. Like, I learned about the back end of e-commerce and logistics, freight, shipping, all that stuff. I made a lot of inside connections. I got to hone my skills in marketing. I got to work on some cool projects because people at that job respected my creativity and my ability to work with all types of people and my leadership skills. I even think about things that happened earlier on in the job. Like, I got to produce a video interview that's on YouTube with the CEO of my company and Lisa Price and Carol's daughter. I met Lisa Price and I got to do all this cool stuff. I had lunch with her. I got to work one-on-one with her. Like, there's so many little things that I did. And I had to remember the joy is in the journey. And even more recently, just this past weekend, as we were talking about Black Women Talk Tech, there are women who came up to me who were like, we recognize your voice. You're Raina from Dreams and Drive. And that was a moment for me because I was like, wow, there are people out there who are being influenced by what I'm doing. And I know if we stop seeing our journeys as tasking, but rather as refueling and energizing, we'll start enjoying them more and start seeing how instead of chasing success, everything we're doing now is success, right? And success is something that's a culmination of actions. So we have to stop seeking this end point, right? We have to remember to keep believing and to keep going. Stop thinking about that endpoint. Stop thinking about the marker or the moment of success and start being success. Stop looking for the light and realize you are the light. I'll say that again. Stop looking for the light and realize you are the light and turn yourself on. Light up the world. Light up the room. Remember that fire burns from within you. And also remember, you're lighting up the way for others before and after you. And I mean that in a figurative and a literal way. You really are setting the pace for those who are following you. You are leaving a legacy for those who are coming after you. You are making those who came before you proud. Your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors. The joys in the journey, dream drivers. So that's all I wanted to say this week. And I think that was the message that really came to me. And I wanted to make sure that we all thought about it. Instead of having a guest share their story, I want you guys this week to reflect on your own stories, to reflect on your successes, your wins, your moments of learning, things that didn't go right. But maybe it's best that those didn't go right, right? I always tell myself, what if I had my dream job very early on in my career? Maybe dreams and drive would never have come about. Maybe if I was so satisfied with my 9 to 5, I wouldn't have had the time or the desire or the ability to dream and to create this platform that is helping others create platforms. Maybe I wouldn't have had that opportunity to. So even when you feel like things aren't going your way, you have to remember and tell yourself the joy is in the journey. And I'm so sorry that I did not remember this woman's name, but I'm going to try to go through my business cards and find her name and send her this episode, because I'm so happy that just that, it's funny because I wasn't even going to go to Black Women Talk Tech, but one of a listener, Deanna, shout out to Deanna, she reached out to me and asked me to be a community partner, and that's how I was able to attend. And I wasn't going to go to the after party, but I said, you know what, I'll just go for a little bit. And that's how I met that woman who told me the joys in the journey. If you love this episode, please share it with a friend. Please share it on social, screenshot on Instagram, post to your Instagram stories. We are Dreams and Drive across the board on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I also want to give a shout out to everyone who's been leaving us reviews. The reviews that you leave on Apple Podcasts especially are really useful, and they help other people know about the show. I'm going to give a shout out to Charlie, and they left a review that says gratitude, 5 stars. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to your vision. Your podcast is so motivational and empowering. And this one is coming from K-Love52 Inspirational. And it's funny because the woman who inspired this episode was 52. And she says, I read a comment saying this podcast is a must-have for young professionals. Well, I must say it is a must-have for everyone in any stage of their life. I'm 52 this year and I'm contemplating a change in my career, and I've gotten some wonderful nuggets from listening to your podcast. You were an awesome interviewer and I just love listening to you. Congrats on your transition to full-time entrepreneur. I look forward to the next episode. Thank you so much, Kay. I appreciate these reviews. If you want to hear yours read on the next episode of Dreams and Drive, just log on to iTunes or Apple Podcast, search for Dreams and Drive, click on ratings and review, and then click on write a review, guys. They mean so much to me. You can also leave us a rating as well. All right, that's all that we have for today. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 176. Bye, guys.